Hey everybody, I'm back with a quick comparison of the mixing workflow between Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, and Studio One. We're going to start here in Pro Tools. Now this is the DAW that most professional mix engineers use when it comes to mixing records. So let's see some of the things that make it special. I've imported a number of audio stems into the session. Pro Tools makes it very easy to get a quick zoomed out overview of the tracks. So just in 2 key commands, I've been able to zoom out and get a nice overview of all the tracks in the session. The other thing that you can do is you can set up multiple rulers at the top of the session. So I have bars and beats and minutes and seconds. I can also add things like samples and time code, feet, and frames if you're working with video. So that's just a nice way to keep track of where you are in the session and how long the song is. The other thing you can do is set up markers to denote where the certain sections of the songs are. You can just click in a place, hit enter. I can name this, for example, chorus 1. This might be verse 2, and so on. I also like that Pro Tools colors the markers, which is an option in the preferences. This helps so when I'm zoomed in, if I know the marker color, I can still tell where in the track I am. Let's just zoom back out. Now, when you first import stems like this, there's going to be a lot of extra space that you don't necessarily need. Pro Tools makes it very easy to just quickly clean this up. Grab the select tool. And then you can just delete large sections of the tracks to clean it up. Now, for example, with this track, it's hard to tell where the waveform is. So you can just increase the waveform section. That probably deleted the actual track, the actual audio. So there you go. You can see that. Now, these tracks are named decently well, but if they weren't, you could just double click on this, name them, and then either you could press next, or the key command and right arrow just moves automatically to the next track. So it becomes very quick to just name all of your tracks when you get them. The other thing you can do when you first get a session is select a group of tracks. For example, say all of the drums. Open up the color palette. And then say I want to make them all red. So now all of the drums are red. And you can color code the various groups in that way as well. Now, Pro Tools doesn't have track folders, but what you can do is over in the left side, you can hide different tracks. So when you have a big session, this is a nice way to just keep it organized and only work on the tracks that you're interested in. Now let's say I wanted to add a delay to this bongos part. Click on the inserts section. And in Pro Tools, you can organize the inserts by either the type of insert or the manufacturer that made it, which is handy. So if I know I want a delay, I can just come to delay and it's automatically organized them. So now if I add a delay, what I can do is if I switch over to the mixer window, let's maybe hide some of the other tracks. You can see I have the delay here. If I copy it over to multiple tracks, Pro Tools makes it very easy for me to audition the difference between them. So I can select the track. If I hit Shift A, it automatically disables all of the inserts on that track. If I select multiple tracks, I can disable all of the inserts on that track. So this becomes a really handy way to just A/B your mix before and after all of the processing. You can also disable the insert on one of these rows all the way across. So for example, if I had additional plugins elsewhere on the tracks, but I just wanted to disable all of the plugins on the first row, hold down Command and Option and click, and it disables those. So this is handy if you have something like a tape saturation plugin across all of the tracks, or a summing plugin across all of the tracks, and you want to A/B those. Makes it easy to do that. If we switch back to the arrange page, now say I wanted to automate something like the mix. Pro Tools makes that very easy. I just come into plugin automation, choose mix, add, and now if I open my automation window, that parameter is available to me. The nice thing about Pro Tools Smart Tool is it makes automation editing very easy. You don't have to switch your tools. It either uses the different areas of the track to change your tool automatically, or you can just hold down Command to get the pencil tool and add points. And then you can select large areas and trim them up and down as well. All right, now let's switch back to the mix window. Now say I wanted to control all of the levels of these tracks at once. I can do that by adding a VCA fader. So I'll add that. And then I'll group the drum tracks. And then on the VCA, once I assign that group channel, I can trim all of those faders up and down at the same time. You can also create auxes if you want. Now I have an aux channel. Nice thing about Pro Tools, you can select all the tracks. Say I want them all to go to the aux channel, which has an input of, say, bus 1 and 2. I just hold down Option and Shift, select the input or the output, and they've all changed in one click to bus 1 and 2. So now they're all going through the aux channel. Now, one of the best features for mixing in Pro Tools is mix or undo. So let me demonstrate that. For example, I drag this fader down and maybe realize it's a mistake. I can just undo it. It'll pop the fader back up to the previous value. All right, so those were some of the handy features when it comes to mixing in Pro Tools.